Hey everyone, in today's video we are going to discuss why you keep attracting narcissistic relationships in your life, and I'm going to talk to you about this by really telling you why I keep attracting narcissistic relationships into my life and what what learning lessons I have for myself and what you could take away from it. And I guess really if we dig right into it straight off the bat, it's because I've had these two relationships back to back with two of my exes. So essentially what happened was I made this video on 20 signs to identify a covert narcissist in your life. And in that video, I not only talked about how my previous relationship, my ex-girlfriend, pretty much checked off like almost all the boxes. And after posting that video, my previous relationship, so my ex-girlfriend from one before the last one, she called me up to apologize for the relationship and say she was sorry about how she treated me. And I told her really, like, those videos and examples weren't even about you, but I did have to, admit that while making that video, I myself had noticed the similarities between the two past relationships, even though the two girls were very different in many ways. And essentially what I learned from that experience was, like any person that wants to grow and I guess become the greatest version of themselves, it's important to look inside. Because if I have two relationships back to back that essentially the same thing happened in, is because there's something inside of me that I need to look at to understand why I'm attracting and bringing these people into my life. And so in this video, we're going to discuss kind of, I guess, the ugly truth behind it, which is something that maybe most people don't want to hear, but it's important to hear for yourself. And I would say that what I'm learning about myself in this situation was that if you keep attracting these people that have rooted narcissism inside of them, that is coming from an insecurity of not feeling significant, because naturally a narcissist wants to overemphasize and act like something is much more grandiose than it actually is. What is happening here, at least in my situation, is that by attracting these people into my life that are lacking significance in their self-esteem, it is actually a clue and a sign to me that that is something that I am lacking inside of myself, and it is being mirrored to me by these two relationships. And so actually, in a way, what is really happening is that there's two different expressions of the same need that has not been met in childhood. And this need that humans have for significance, it is one of the 6 basic needs. And this need for significance, because it hasn't been met previously in your life, it is now being shown to you so you can actually go back and heal the wound that you are experiencing, so that you can either, have that in your life as a part of your future, or just heal the wound so that it's not expressing itself in a painful way. Because there's nothing wrong with desiring significance. It is what a core human desire. It just can be expressed in a healthy way, or it can be expressed in an unhealthy way. So if I think back about it in my two previous relationships, all that was really being shown was a lack of significance within myself. And I think it's become readily apparent for anybody watching these videos that part of what I am doing is I am trying to fulfill my need for significance consciously in a healthy way. And I think I'm not even trying to hide it from you guys, the channel's called Legend Life, right? And I tell you guys that, I want to have this, I want to create this type of lifestyle and create all these cool things for my life and like build this following and stuff. And a lot of it has to do with a need for significance to be met. And I want to meet it in a healthy way. And I can want to meet that need consciously. So what I actually encourage you to do is to look inside of yourself and see if you have that same unmet need for significance. Think about the love bombing stage in narcissistic relationships. Of the stages that go on in this narcissistic relationship is the love bombing, the devaluing, and the discard phase. What happens in the love bombing stage? You feel insanely significant to somebody else. And it fulfills that need inside of you. And that's why I think I have fallen for it so many times. And that's why I think many of you have also fallen for it. It's because this need for significance is being met. And what's interesting about this is that at that time, it feels like it's being met in a healthy way, which is important because most of us on this channel want to meet our needs in a healthy way. There's nothing wrong with having the desire and having the need for significance. Significance in and of itself is a human need. And denying that need, pretending like you don't want it, is actually being inauthentic with yourself. And I think it takes a certain amount of self-acceptance to say to yourself and recognize that a need for significance and appreciation is something that you have to allow yourself to receive, and you have to allow yourself to, I guess, desire it without telling yourself it's wrong to desire and to want it as a part of your life. So as this need for significance becomes apparent in your life, what happens in these narcissistic relationships is that you begin to fall for this need of significance having been met in that relationship. And what makes you go in that crazy circle is that you get a taste of what it's like to have that need inside of you met. And it feels absolutely incredible. Let's not kid ourselves. The love bombing stage feels absolutely amazing on the inside. And because it feels so amazing on the inside, we want to stick to it. Then the devaluing stage comes into the relationship. And that what appeared to be healthy, and what probably was healthy for a certain time, that need of significance is now being taken away from you. And now you're being, punished into the ground, I guess. And you are being made to feel insignificant. And because now you have this juxtaposition of the need of significance having been met, and now you're constantly being triggered with that need, with that feeling of insignificance. Because you are being triggered, what you're really being alerted to is that there is a wound in there that needs to be healed. And if you take the time to understand how that wound originally happened to you, you will be able to understand why you have fallen for these types of relationships in the past. Because I know that's what I did. And as I continue to grow in my personal life and journey, I took some time to think about why I felt for these relationships. And it's something I'm going to be talking about in one of my next videos on how to deal with negative emotions. It's a little step-by-step guide I'm making. And in that, I talk about going forward into the emotions, the negative emotions that you're having, to understand their cause. Because if you understand their cause, you will be able to take some time to take care of yourself. And then in a way, what's going to happen is you're not going to need this other person to make you feel significant, because you will be able to accept love and significance from other sources. Unless that desire for you is not maybe part of your life path, maybe that need doesn't need to be met by any relationship at all. It can be met in different ways, but that need for significance itself can, from this specific relationship, can fade away. And I can say that, at least for myself personally, the more time that I've taken to think about why I was having this need for significance and why specifically I relied on my previous relationships for that person to make me feel significant, is because I was not allowing myself to feel significant through my own actions, my own words, and my own life. I became dependent on somebody else to feel significance, rather than myself to fulfill my own need for significance in a healthy way. And by taking the time to understand that about myself and learn more about it, what's actually going to happen in my life going forward is that I will be able to fulfill and accept that need for significance from healthy sources. Because that need, I mean, it's probably not going to go away forever for really anybody. It's a human need. So stop trying to maybe feel like you can, I guess, get yourself not to desire something that you genuinely desire. And if maybe you don't feel like you desire this, maybe there's a part of you that has even denied the feeling of desiring this. Because if you're attracting this type of person, I encourage you to look on the inside like I have been trying to do heavily for myself. To understand why maybe this is being reflected in your life in different ways and what you can do to consciously meet your need. Subconsciously trying to meet your need means that you are not aware that you even have this need. And for a long time, that's what happened in my relationships. And I feel like I have had to come to the acceptance that this need is going to be a part of me for, ever. At least for a long while, I feel like. And by accepting that, you will accept yourself. You'll accept your needs and desires, and you can consciously meet your needs. And there's nothing that will make you happier than trying to meet your needs consciously rather than subconsciously. Because then if you do this subconsciously, you're going to fall for patterns of behavior that are just trying to alert you to a conscious reaction of what is actually going on inside of you. So that does it for this video. And I hope you enjoyed it. If you like this type of content, please consider subscribing. Also, thanks to everyone that's been signing up for the Patreon. I'm really grateful for you guys. I want to do this channel full time. And when you sign up to the Patreon, it helps me do that directly. So if you want to support me as a creator, please click the link in the description down below and sign up for the Patreon. You also get exclusive content. Thanks. See you on the next vid.